Hi, Trojan fans. Thanks for joining us here today for an update with Director of Athletics, Brent Jones. And Brent, will jump on into it here. Football season's in full swing. Trojans just had a strong win over Marshall here at Veterans Memorial Stadium last weekend and had a tremendous crowd here for that game. The fans are really showing up in strong numbers. A lot of excitement these first few weeks of the season around the football program. Let's talk about that from your vantage point and what that has been like these first few weeks of the season.
Trojan Nation continues to step up time and time again, just like we saw with baseball this past year and setting the all-time attendance record as well as the most tickets sold, just like we saw with men's and women's basketball this year, leading the Sun Belt Conference in attendance for the first time ever and selling the most tickets that we've ever sold for both programs. Now we're able to do that with football. We're about 100 tickets, season tickets short of our ultimate goal of 12,000, which we will hit through the Pack the Vet campaign, which is what we released about 2 months ago. But these first two games, Alabama A&M, and I know it had a tremendous downpour right before the game started, but Marshall as well, to have the fourth largest crowd, to have that energy, that enthusiasm throughout, really permeate throughout Veterans Memorial Stadium. It was simply outstanding to hear visiting fans, to hear our own fans, to hear first-time ticket buyers, to hear our students, as well as our student athletes just talk about that experience. It was incredible. And we need every single person that came out for the first two games to be able to come back out from Marshall to Southern Miss. And so that's going to be a big game as well. And as we have seen in the Sun Belt Conference, whether that's App State, JMU, ODU, Louisiana, South Alabama, Troy, whatever that may be, each and every game, as well as Marshall, each and every game, you have to bring it. It starts with our fans. It ends with our student athletes. And so every game in this league is extremely tough, but I've been very pleased by our outpouring of support by our amazing fans.
Talking about those next games coming up here for us and some key matchups in the Sun Belt Conference, specifically in the Western Division here for us. Hosting Southern Miss on October 8th. That'll be Football Letter Winners Day as we honor all of our football letter winners, especially the 1987 National Championship team and the 2007 Sun Belt Conference Championship team. And then homecoming on October 15th against Texas State. How important, like you said, is it for our fans to be here and support this football team in their quest to win several games here in the Sun Belt Conference?
Well, you only have 6 home games for football. And so each and every game is so important. And one thing that we do really good here is we make sure that we celebrate not only our football team, but past teams. And this year to be able to have 2007, the 15th year anniversary of our Sun Belt Conference Championship, and then our 35th anniversary of the 1987 Division II National Championship team. We're going to have a special helmet decal logo on the helmet. And so we're looking to have, it's also Football Letter Winners Day. So just for football, hopefully be able to get anywhere between 350 to 500 former letter winners back. It's going to be simply outstanding. But to be able to have back-to-back home games, look, they talk about a home field advantage. When you're able to sleep in your bed, it's 70% greater chance for you to win that game. And so for us to be able to be in the friendly confines of what we have, I'm excited about our fans with this game against Southern Miss, but then also for homecoming with all the festivities that make it best. I will tell you this. There are a lot of great days for Troy University athletics, but I don't think there's any better in the fall than homecoming. Come home for homecoming, and we're looking for another jam-packed crowd. But before that, obviously, we have Southern Miss.
Basketball season is quickly approaching, and as you mentioned earlier, the men's and women's basketball programs led the Sun Belt Conference for the first time in attendance this past year. But also, you had two really good teams. You had women's basketball win another conference championship in the regular season title this past season. Men's basketball getting to the 20-win mark of the season last year. Looking to build upon that success, what are you most looking forward to about the men's and women's basketball programs heading into the 22-23 basketball season?
The leadership that Shanda Rigby as well as Scott Cross continue to permeate through all of our both programs and to our student athletes. I'm so excited about this upcoming year. The only Sun Belt Conference school to be able to win 20 games in both, the only one to be able to have postseason in both. It's the first time in 5 years that both teams are able to make the postseason. Scott Cross, Take the Stairs, Monto is really taking shape and really you can see that program on the rise. What Shanda Rigby continues to do, the all-time winningest coach in Troy women's basketball history, winning 5 of the last 7 Sun Belt Conference championships. I'm excited about it. Fans need to come out. Last year we set all-time records, as we previously talked about, not only just for Troy University athletics, not just for women's basketball or men's basketball, but for the Sun Belt Conference to be the bearer standard, to be the leader. That's what we want to continue to do. And it starts with people showing up and buying season tickets.
Volleyball, soccer, and cross country all are in the midst of their seasons right now, off to great programs thus far. Great starts, that is, for these programs thus far. Both volleyball and soccer will return home next week, as football will also be home next week as well, too. But what are you most proud of about these programs thus far this season?
Again, I really go back to leadership. You talk about the leadership that we have in soccer as well as volleyball and in cross country. You see these teams really competing hard. I was at the soccer game on Sunday that we came up just a little bit short, but you see that program. It's building under head coach Robert Lane. You see our cross country team, especially the men and the women's team, really competing. I see them every morning out here when I'm running, or when they're running. I'm coming into the office, but they're out here running at 6 a.m. and they're getting after it. And so I really feel good about our fall sports. And then also what our volleyball team has been able to do. And so being able to go to the LSU tournament, being able to beat UAB, being able to beat some of these other really good teams, being able to beat Louisiana on Thursday night is important. And our fans make a difference for that. So I encourage everybody to come on out. But it doesn't matter what sports you're in. We want to compete. We want to win. And I really feel good about the leadership as well as the student athletes we have in our men's and women's cross country. Soccer is building. You're going to see them only get better as the season goes on, as well as into the future. And then you see what Coach Josh Lauer has done with volleyball: 3 consecutive winning seasons, 2 out of the last 3 years, making it the postseason. We're chipping away this year right at it. We're in the middle of conference play. So I think everybody has to be looking and be excited about where we are with our fall sports.
Men's golf recently wrapped up a fifth place finish at the GMAC Invitational in Gadsden, Alabama. And then prior to that, had a top 10 finish at the Jim Rivers Intercollegiate, a very tough course at Squire Creek. While the women's program is about to get into the heart of their fall schedule right now as well, too, for golf. Both programs really have bright outlooks, it seems like, for the upcoming year. Talk a little bit about both men's and women's golf.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm excited about where we have, and I know that's a consistent theme. But you look at the trajectory of both programs, you look at what you're able to see our men and women's golf programs are able to do. It's exciting, and we're competing at a very, very high level, and it gets some really, really good competition. I mean, you go back and look at who's that field in the Jim Rivers over in La Tech, and you see who we just competed against as well. I mean, these are some really, really good competition, and so for our men's and women's teams to be able to compete, that's where you want to be. For us to win 3 tournaments last year was simply outstanding. And now we're able to play even tougher schedules, because the way that it works with golf is, as you move up those rankings, you get into better and better and better tournaments. And so I'm excited about that. Our men's team is going to the Bahamas this year, which is going to be exciting. Our women's team is set up to go next year as well. So we'll just continue to chip away at those 2 sports. But what really helps as well is we have one of the best facilities on campus. You think about on-campus facilities, it helps us in recruiting every single sport, but what our men and women have the ability to do every single day down at our university golf course it's stunning, and it really makes a difference. And I think you're seeing that in our competition as well.
Troy's NIL program continues to provide opportunities for our student athletes here at Troy, and a new item is now available with the Troy NIL Marketplace that's powered by Open Doors. For our fans at home, let's dive a little bit deeper into why these items are so important right now and what they're doing to make an impact in the student athlete experience.
Well, I'll tell you this. We talk about what makes Troy University so special. What makes Troy University so different? I think it's alignment. It starts at the top with our amazing chancellor, Jack Hawkins Jr., and his visionary leadership of being here 34 years. And so what he's been able to do and transform this university as well as athletic department. And then you start seeing the alignment between administration, and you start seeing the alignment with coaches and student athletes, as well as our governors and the NCAA and the Sun Belt Conference. We're in a transformational period now. And how do we continue to evolve? How do we continue to really be revolutionary in aspect? And name, image, and likeness is one of those things. And so Chancellor Hawkins challenges all of us to be on the forefront of cutting edge technology, be on the forefront of being able to really offer the best experience possible for our student athletes as well as our students. And name, image, and likeness is part of that. And so with us being able to partner with the Sorrell College of Business to be able to offer our name, image, and likeness certificate, for us then be able to partner with the idea Idea Bank downtown is simply outstanding with it, what they're able to offer. And this is the next step of this as well. And so with this is the name, image, and likeness marketplace through Open Doors. And so our fans, donors, and sponsors will now be able to connect with our student athletes on this platform online in a very compliant way that works within the rules, works within the NCAA. And so we're excited about this. And so they can directly talk to them about what they're willing to do and how they can partner both their brands to make this part of it. But I will tell you this, name, image, and likeness, it's not going away. We've been able to embrace it the correct way. We took our time. We built it within the university where we have a certification course. We also built it with an actual, with the Idea Bank, and being able to have guidance from an expert with Lynn George, being able to do that. And so I'm excited about this being the next step with this. We have one of the most comprehensive name, image, and likeness plans out there. And this only adds just a little bit more to that program.
The annual basketball tip-off banquet presented by Jones Medical Supply will be returning on Thursday, November 3rd to Trojan Arena. It's a great way to celebrate the upcoming basketball seasons for both men's and women's basketball, an opportunity to raise funds for both of those programs as well, too. It's always an exciting time of the year when you get a chance to get more into the fall and getting ready for the season there. But what are you most looking forward to about that event as well as the upcoming basketball seasons there?
I think this is the third year that we've done this, if I'm not mistaken, and it's just really taken off. To be able to celebrate and honor our men's and women's basketball teams in a way that we do on the court, it's outstanding. It's a fun time. You get to interact with our student athletes, and it's a little bit different. We changed it up. So we're going to have two student athletes, a men and a women's basketball player at each table as well. And so you're able to get to know them, able to speak to them, be able to have that engagement part of it, as well as our coaches. And so to be able, it's a fun time. We get to unveil the intro videos. We get to announce the team. You get to hear from the coaches. It's great food. It's great camaraderie. And all the proceeds go back to Troy University men's and women's basketball programs. And so it's a great way to jumpstart the year. And we're expecting a great crowd. I'd encourage everyone to get their tickets. It's fun. It's a family environment as well. So bring on everybody out for that.
You can get those tickets online right now at troytrojans.com/tickets. Again, Thursday, November 3rd, 6 o'clock start time in Trojan Arena for men's and women's basketball tip-off banquet there. And Brent, I know you've been on the road a lot here as of late with the trip to D.C. for the Lead One Institute. Talk a little bit more about what that was like to be there amongst fellow ADs across the country as well.
I think we had 115 of the 131 Division I FBS ADs, and so a lot was done. That was 2 weeks ago. Spent 3 days in Washington D.C., and we had meetings, very collaborative, engaging. And so what came from that is there was a lot of people that were asking, does Division I football FBS, does it stay in the NCAA? Does it go to the college football? Do we create a different governing body for that? And I think collectively everybody got together and really said, hey, we need to stay in the NCAA. We want to stay in the NCAA. And what was even better about it is you saw the P5 and the G5 really come together and say FBS football is what we need to do. And so you see that now. You also see that with the college football playoff expanding from 4 to 12. And you see, when will that happen? It could happen as early as 2024, 2025, or 2026. But it was really good for everybody to come together and to really be able to have some finality. And so for us to be able to talk about, hey, this is what binds us, FBS football, the 10 football playing conferences, and really come up with a vision that's going to be within the NCAA is exciting to see the future for us.
And finally, staying with some road trips you've been on here as of late. I know you got the chance to go to Dallas recently to the college football playoff, had a mock exercise for the selection committee you were able to be a part of there. Talk a little bit about that experience and how that was something you were able to be a part of there.
It was an honor and a privilege to go out there last Tuesday and Wednesday. It was just a lot of work. It was about 16 to 18 hours that we worked on this in a mock format. We went over year, what would you do if you were actually on this committee? It was me and 12 other ADs. It's 13 people that sit on this. Typically 6 or 7 are current ADs. And so I was nominated by the Sun Belt Conference to be this year's Sun Belt representative. And so to be able to go out there was great. And to be able to see the inner workings, the data points, what they have, to be able to have, I believe, 4 different computers going on at the same time. And really, you sit around a table And there are no right answers or wrong answers. You just want to get the correct information, and to see where college football is headed, I'm excited about. Bill Hancock and his group they do a phenomenal job at the college football playoff. And so I'm excited about them expanding from 4 to 12 as well. And as part of that caveat, you're going to see a group of 5 member guaranteed to be in it, because one of those 6 conference championships champions has to be given to the group of 5. And then in certain years, we've actually been able to be in the other 6 there that are in there as well. So it's really exciting to be able to see what makes March Madness so great. What makes the road to Omaha, or what makes the road to Oklahoma City in softball. Well, guess what? You know what it does? It's about, people being able to be inclusive and be able to have a chance. Coastal Carolina winning it 5, 6, 7 years ago in baseball, and you've seen that across the board. St. Francis, St. Peter's, Gonzaga when they were starting off. And so I think really by expanding out, it's going to help the group of 5 conferences, and it's going to help overall college football. But it was a great experience. It was very intensive, a lot of data, a lot of statistics that you went over, but it's an exciting time, especially with the expansion of those playoffs.
Most certainly. Well, Brent, thanks so much for the time today. And fans, for any information that you're looking for, be sure to visit TroyTrojans.com. As well as for ticket needs, you can go to TroyTrojans.com/tickets. Thanks for joining us today, and go Trojans.